All right, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I am your man, Big Jack, here where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would just reach one, we can all grow and glow. I am so excited today because we got a special guest on this show, the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I got my man with me today, and he's going to be, I'm just excited about him being here. So let me see if I can get him up on the stage real quick. Oh man, let me in the stage.
Big
All right, we got
Jack,
my man. What's up? How you doing, Walt?
how you doing, sir? I'm doing
All
well.
right,
How are
Walter
you?
Jernigan. All right, man. I'm so super excited about having you here on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. So let me tell you how this is going to break down, how we break this down. So you're on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. We are live right now. We are 100% live on YouTube and Facebook. So we're on live, and I'm using a program called StreamYard. So with StreamYard, I can go live on multiple platforms, and so we're live on those two platforms right now. People are going to start coming in. So once they start coming in, you'll start seeing them maybe down in the comments. I'll see them in the comments, and we can start uh, talking to them. Or as they come in, we'll recognize who they are, and then we'll just keep it going. But the big thing is, I just want to get to know who you are. So I'm gonna be asking you some questions, and then you just be you, and we're gonna talk. And then if you have some time afterwards, we might go into a we call it the after show. So that's a new thing. It's the after show, and that's where we can invite other guests to come in with us, and we'll have just a little brief conversation about and get a little deeper on some of the things you might talk about. Are you good
Okay,
with it?
count me in.
All right, all right. So right now, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Walter Jernigan. I'm a retired DC firefighter. Been retired 11 years, actually. I'm one of those guys that never worked a day in my life. Just used to chase fire trucks when I was a kid. Always wanted to be a firefighter. I had uncles who were firefighters. Just one of those guys who just really got to live his dream and make a living out of it. It was an opportunity to serve my community, make a great living, have a lot of fun, and I learned an awful lot. So that basically satisfies the four personality types of people. And we're all kind of mixed. Some people work for money, some people work to serve, some people work for information, and some people work to have fun. But I had a lot of fun. It's serious business. I took it very seriously. It's very serious, but I didn't. I never took myself too serious. I always had a good time and enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up now because I'm not opposed to working again. I still in a position where I still help a lot of people kind of walk through the process. I still tell guys about it. It's a great opportunity, changed my life, and I just like to share it with as many people as possible. I mean, it's one of those things that's kind of overlooked sometimes. It's kind of so I just always demystify being a firefighter.
Okay, all right. So I've never been a firefighter, so normally when I come on here, I can share some of my experiences with the person who's going, because this is the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. So normally we base it off of you have your iron and my iron when we clash together, and it's a good clash. We become stronger together. And I can say my firefighting experience, but this time I cannot. I have never been a firefighter, but when I was in the military, I was a military police officer,
Yes.
so I do know about maybe you're going to share some things that I can say I can relate to when it's an emergency and you got the emergency response, being that first responder type thing.
Well,
I do know a little bit about that. So maybe that's where our iron will cross each other and clash each other. Before we even get started, and thank you for sharing who you
mhm.
are. And so we got Walter Jernigan with us today, retired DC fireman, or firefighter. I apologize on that, and he just sharing a little bit about it. So we do got creating changes in there. He's saying howdy, and it's what was that, Anisha? I want to make sure I get her name right. I'll be killing those names. I am so hard on these names, so I
Mhm.
apologize to everybody when I be killing their name, but hopefully I got it right. But they're down in the chat and they're greeting each other and all. And I don't know
Oh,
if you can see the chat down there.
I
Um,
can, but when I go to chat, it kind of takes my camera in a different
Well,
direction.
yeah,
So,
don't mess around with that then, because it
you
will
see,
mess
I
you
got
up and
it,
it take
man.
you
Hands
out.
off,
So if for
hands
whatever
off.
reason you do get removed from us, just use the same code and you'll get back in, but it's no
Okay.
problem. So, all right. So can you tell us a little bit about your firefighting experience?
Can
Some of the
I
things
can I
that you experienced. Go
Can
ahead.
I take a moment, man, and just back up for a second?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, man, at the risk of embarrassing you in front of your audience,
Oh
I'm
man.
proud of you, man.
Oh man,
I
what's
am
up?
extremely proud of you because I remember when you started talking about this. I remember when you were doing ads. I
Yeah.
remember when you just started streaming your videos of you and your son bowling.
Mm,
And the name is incredible because I've known you a while
right,
and we'll
right.
have
Yeah,
a
that's
conversation.
true.
But you have always been a very, very fierce competitor.
Mm,
But what I see in this, just like with golf, with bowling, with everything, the iron sharpening iron is that's perfect for you because you're a competitor, but
mm,
you also come from the school of thought that is not like a rising tide floats all boats. So for you to be better, you always challenge yourself by playing people by playing with against people who can bring something to the table. And when I'm seeing you in some of these chats, let me first start. It's impossible to know what I don't know. So there's a lot
mm,
I don't know about this vlogging game,
right,
right?
right, right.
And then listening to you guys have a conversation and kind of build a community and how you all can kind of play off of each other and work together to build this community. It's impressive. But then, of course, the more I know, the more I realize what I don't know.
Right,
So
right.
sometimes I'm listening to y'all kind of nerd out a little bit, if you will, for lack of a
Mm,
better word. And man, I'm just proud of you because you don't see your community as competition.
mm,
You see it as a community, and
right.
that's impressive, especially in this day and time. That's pretty impressive, man. So at the risk of embarrassing you, I know whether we're bowling, golfing, whatever, tiddlywinks, rock paper scissors. I know you're a competitor, but I also know that you always want to make sure that you bring the best out of people. So I just wanted to tell you that, man. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud
No,
of you,
I know. I appreciate. I truly, truly, truly appreciate
my
that.
man.
And
Sorry to embarrass
uh,
you.
I got Walter Jernigan on here with me for those who are down in the chat, and I got Anthony. My time is down there. Nisha's there, and I see
So,
creating changes in there. So there's people that's starting to show up, and they're going to be supportive. They're very supportive, and like you say, in the community. The whole thing is, even with this show, Walt, to even explain it, it's to say we are stronger together.
yes,
So is there's no reason for us to come against each other because there's millions of people that we can all have a piece of this pie together. It's
yes,
just that big, and I believe that if each one would just reach one, we can all grow and glow. So that's the whole thing. We can all, you know, if I get successful and the next person gets successful, we just all successful. It's not about. I'm not trying to compete against anybody. You know what I'm saying? But I am competitive. So I
absolutely.
do watch. I do watch what they do, and if someone does a nice video, I might take a sample of that or whatever because I like that was a good. They had a good idea. Let me run with that because it only makes me stronger. So that's where again back to the iron sharpening iron. What can I use from you that's going to make me stronger? So
Yes,
I'm depending on a lot of people in my community, a lot of people that come in and support. I'm depending on them to put something out there that's going to make me a better person. I'm not going to tell you 100% I always agree. You
right.
know that me and you, we don't
Everybody do.
always agree on everything that we see, but at the same time, it's like I respect the effort. I respect the time that you put into it, and because of that, I want to see if it's something I can point you in the right direction to help you grow, or maybe point out something that you didn't see.
Yes,
Maybe you didn't see that. Like it's right there in front of your face. How you not seeing it?
yes. I do
But
not see it.
sometimes it's so clear or so right there in front of you that you don't see it. You overlook it. So I need people to point out my flaws and my issues and things I got, and be in the position so that they can receive from me as well. So if and again, I'm not trying to throw. I try my best not to be negative, you know what I'm saying? If
No,
it's, I do my best. And even when we have conversations, and it may be maybe somebody else on it, me and you can have a conversation, or someone else can have a conversation, and we are, I say this a lot though. I agree. We have to come to a point where we agree that we're going to disagree.
disagree.
So
Absolutely.
we agree that we're going to disagree. And if we can come
100%.
that way, when it's all said and done, we can just go off and it's over. It's not like, where mad at you, never going to talk to you again. No, we already said in the beginning, we're going to disagree. So you
Absolutely.
just be ready for it. Just be ready for
That's
it.
what
Yeah.
the one thing I do miss about being a firefighter
Mm,
is that the different points of view. It's sort of like the military for you. It's sort of like being on a sports team for you.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these different personalities, and then it takes a type of personality to be a firefighter. And you put all of these people in the room, man. We have discussions at the dinner table that most HR professionals would run out of the room on. You have real heart-to-heart discussions because everyone comes from a different walk of life.
Mm-hmm.
But the beautiful thing is, I kind of look at it like a pot of gumbo. Individually, these ingredients mean nothing. Just think of a pot of gumbo and everything that goes into a pot of gumbo, right?
Right.
These ingredients by themselves, without being under heat, yeah, they're okay. But you put all those things in the pot, put a little pressure under, a little heat under it, get those flavors going, those ideas going, those disagreements going. Being being honest enough and respectful enough to some and confident enough in your opinion to hear another opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's again, one of two things is going to happen. Uh, uh, I'm going to have a stronger plan, right,
Right.
with your opinion, and then also you become an advocate because when people come and tell me, "Hey, Jernigan, that's a terrible idea," or it's coming to tell you, "Hey, Jernigan has a terrible idea," then you then say, "No, man, I challenged it. I don't like him either, if that's the case, but his idea is solid. So that's the thing. And being a firefighter, you have to be all of those things like that because you have to be confident enough in yourself to listen, to follow orders. Even as a captain, hey man, it may be the rookie who sees something that I don't see. My considerations are different. So I have to trust him. Well, he has to trust me enough when I say stop, stop. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have time to tell you, hey, Big Jack, there's a hole in the floor, and if you don't stop, you'll fall in the hole.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
just have to say, hey, stop. We
Mm-hmm.
don't do whoa, 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 hold up. It's stop.
So,
But at the same time, Big Jack the rookie, hey Cap, something doesn't feel right. Let's figure it out. And I trust you on that. So just little things like that, man, as far as being you just have to be able to be willing to work with other people. It's not for the selfish, it's not for inconsiderate people, it's not for people who don't have empathy. You're dealing with the public, you're not being judgmental. You have people who are already having an emergency. They're already having a bad day. They call 911. They're having a bad day. Things are going to go wrong before they go right, usually.
mm-hmm.
So you get caught into the middle of that. And all of those life skills that your parents taught you by the time you were in fifth, sixth grade, those things come back and really, really, really apply. And if you really respect the process, that's what it is. And going through the process of becoming a firefighter, those are the things that we're looking for. I did my last 3 in recruiting, and those are the things that we're looking for in a firefighter. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. I enjoy helping people, uh, pointing them in the right direction, just kind of walking them through a process because most people had no idea. You got a few guys who are volunteer firefighters, maybe they had an idea, maybe they had a relative, but I came in off the street. I
Right.
didn't know a ceiling hook from a Halligan bar. Those are two tools. I
Right,
had
right,
no
right.
idea. I had no idea. I knew what a ladder was, but I couldn't tell you what the heel from the toe was.
Right,
So
right.
you had to learn all that. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Man, I truly I appreciate you breaking it down like that because I'm looking at it as you talking. I'm more thinking how it was for me in the military and going through my basic training and things
Yeah.
like that. Because when you come in right off the street, unless you had maybe ROTC program in high school or something like that. You're coming off the street with no knowledge and definitely with no discipline. So that's the big thing. You definitely have to have the discipline to like I say to listen. Like I say, if in the military, it was either we used to either say mine or bomb. So to make a person stop because if that the right there was the next thing, don't move one more muscle because
Yeah.
it could be a mine or a bomb underneath of you, and
Yeah.
because of those things, that was the thing that we would have to say because we didn't have time to talk about it and think about it. It was that next step could be your last step, so that's we had to make it stop. But then having that questioning attitude, so that everything is not just a because you told me so. That Forrest Gump type thing, because you told me to, drill sergeant, we had to
Yeah.
get rid of that, because you had to have a question attitude because it was going to save your life. You got the spider senses going up the back of your neck and all, and it ain't feeling right.
Yeah.
I need you to say something. If you see something, I need you to say something because you're right. You're focused on a mission and you got a plan in your mind and a vision that you're seeing, but you don't get to see all around, and that's why you're working as a team. And I think Anisha made a comment in there where she said teamwork, and that's what she was saying. The teamwork, you got to have that good teamwork. So just want to
Teamwork
acknowledge the
makes the
people that's
dream
in
work.
there.
Mhm.
Let's acknowledge some of the people that's in there. So we do have Anisha L TV. I know that I'm looking at it again. Anthony, my time is in there. Creating change is in there. And if you're in there, just go ahead and leave your. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already hit the like button, and then at the same time leave comments. And if you have any questions for Walter here, Walter Jernigan, retired fireman from the Washington D.C. area, and he's here sharing his experiences and things as a firefighter. And then we're going to get deeper into the conversation. But right now, so if you have a comment, I want to thank everybody who's here. We're on the Iron Shopping and Iron Show. Got Walter Jernigan here, and he's going to break it down. So just give us a little bit, if you don't mind, Walt, about your experiences. Can you tell us a little bit about your firefighting experience?
So let me, if you can, let me start from the beginning. Okay, I
Mm,
came up in the '80s, right? So you know how life was in D.C. and Prince George's County in the '80s, right? So I came out of high school in '81. Never knew what I wanted to do. Parents were like, hey, you got to apply for colleges. I just didn't want to go to college, man. I just didn't. I didn't see. It just wasn't for me. It didn't excite me. It didn't give me that feeling of like, man, I want to do this for the rest of my life because I still can go and don't know what I want to do. But firefighting always excited me. Firefighter always excited me. I had an uncle and a godfather who were firefighters, and they always had nice homes, nice cars, nice ladies,
mm,
and it just kind of excited me. And I always like people. I always like working, serving the public. I always like helping people.
mm,
And well, you know how it is, man. People say I collect friends,
mm,
but I just needed something, man, that just fulfilled me. I just needed something that gave me a sense of purpose. I needed something that like, that would make me just at a young age, man. I knew like I need to wake up and go to work and feel like this is it for me, and I knew
mm,
that at a young age. And basically I knew more of what I didn't want to do than what I did want to do. So I go down
mm,
to my local firehouse and I try to join. I'm 14, 15 years old, and I try to join the local firehouse. And the guy comes to the door and he tells me that we're not accepting any new guys down here. You may be comfortable. And he sends me to another firehouse, which
mm,
is not too far from my house. So I go to that other firehouse. And of course, the guys, it's like, we're the other side of the street. The guys down there, who are these guys, ended up being DC guys down the road, and some of my best friends to this day. So they said, man, why didn't you join the firehouse closest to your house? And I said, well, they sent me over here. They told me I'd probably be better off over here. And basically, the guy was playing games.
mm.
The first guy was playing games with me,
Right.
you know. And that was my first hard life lesson of how cruel people can be, and how much of a close knit organization, how close knit these organizations were. So of course, I'm going to volunteer down at the second firehouse, but I'm working a summer job. I'm working part time, so I can't train on Saturdays. So I never joined the fire department. I didn't join the fire department until I was 18. I joined the fire department in '85. I was born in '63. I joined in '85.
Mm,
Before then, uh, I worked for a TV rental company, and I had a good buddy that you knew very well. God bless his soul. A guy
mm,
named Fred Nash, your father.
mm,
And hey man, that guy, he saved me, man. I mean, he basically, I didn't have any brothers and sisters. Your father pretty much got me on track. I tell you what's funny though, if anybody here is old enough to remember Sanford and Son, Fred should have been getting paid for that. Fred, your father,
right.
Fred, should have been getting paid by Fred Sanford for that term, you big dummy, because he used that on me. I don't know how many times, man. I mean, I wouldn't stay out of my own way sometimes. Wasn't a bad guy, wasn't a tough guy, not on some tough guy stuff, but just experiencing life,
Right.
and he would say, man, you big dummy. And I used to always say, hey, Fred, in spite of myself, I'm gonna be good. And he always saw something in me. But now I can't say that. I would be remiss without telling everybody how I met Big Jack.
You can go ahead and tell the story.
I
Go ahead
go
and
to
tell the
my
story.
local, and he's going to deny this. I'm letting you know right now, he's going to deny it. He's going to have a different version of the story.
Yeah,
I go to the local recreation center. I'm shooting pool. I'm 14 years old. How old are you, sir? You about
I'm
5'6".
54. I'm 54.
Yeah, I'm
So
61. So there it is.
yeah.
And I had a pretty good pool game until a pretty good pool player showed up. And I'm running the table. I'm beating everyone. Beat Big Jack, and Big Jack says he wants to play his friend. And I'm like, you got to win to play. So Big Jack, not in a little kid kind of way, he goes home because he's not getting back on the table anytime soon. And has a conversation with his father and tells his father that the guy up at the rec center won't let him on the pool table. So in walks Big Fred. And Fred walks in and he says, you told my son he can't play pool. Now I'm 14 years old, and your father is probably 10, 15 years older than me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, he can play, but he got to win. So if he asked me, so if I win, I can play. I said, yeah, if you think you can win. He throws Big Jack the keys, tell him to go get his weapon out the trunk. I forget what he called it. He had a name for it. He said, go get my whatever. Go get, I don't know if he said Betsy or whatever. Go get it out of the trunk. He comes back in with the pool. Sticking continues to just commences to running the table on me. And I get home after that. I walk home, and Big Fred is in my building visiting a friend of his. And we've been friends ever since, man. He kind of took me under his wing at a young age when I was a young guy. And then as I got older, I wanted to join the military. My father was in the Marine Corps. My uncle's in the Marine Corps. My mother begged me not to go in the Marine Corps. She said, my father even said, man, go in the Air Force. You got a better chance of building a career.
Mm,
And I go in, goes to Fort Hollenberg up in Baltimore.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pass everything, get in 6 weeks of basic training. They tell me I'm colorblind.
Oh,
I failed a color vision depth perception test with the
oh
numbers, with
wow.
the dots, which I failed at my whole life. So they can't give me the job I wanted, which was a firefighter. Why that matters, I don't know. But I had a guaranteed job, delayed entry, yada yada yada. Come back, work for the TV rental company. That's when I run into your father again.
Mm,
And man, my life, and you and I have been friends ever since, bro. And I
right.
appreciate you, man. You are that guy, man. You are that guy, and I lean on you. I mean, like, I'm supposed to be giving you game, but man, your opinion is priceless with me, man. I mean, when I really want to get an honest opinion on something, when I really want to get a good read, a good perspective, I always can depend on you for that. So there it is, man. So
No,
Big Jack,
eh,
proud of you, bro. Again, man. I'm
no,
sorry to
and look,
sorry to
I
bore you with all
appreciate
this,
that.
but that's
I'm
what it
telling you,
is.
I appreciate that because the fact is that's exactly how I see you. So it's amazing that what you're saying to me because you know for sure I'll call you right now and be like, hey, what do you think about this or whatever? And
Yeah,
if you think it's going to be a bad idea, you shoot, and that's what I need. I need somebody
mhm.
with some straight talk to me.
Yeah,
Don't BS me. Don't baloney me.
yeah,
Just give me straight talk. Let me know
yeah,
because we do. We want to. You want to do something. You want to do it right. But sometimes you go in there with your head, wide open, nose wide open. You run in
yeah,
there and it's not, not thinking about all the other stuff that can come out of there. So,
yeah.
but no, I appreciate you. So, all of those who was out there listening to that story, that is definitely the watered down version of that
Oh
story.
man, yeah. Well, it's the water there. He was a
That's the
bully.
watered down
He been a
version of
bully his
that
whole
story.
life.
Look, it's a family fun show, so we're gonna water it down a little bit. But
Oh man.
he did mop me up on the pool table. I'll give him
Oh
that. I
man.
100%. And I didn't run home and go call my dad or
No, he
whatever.
didn't
But
run
at the
home. I
same
bet you
time,
didn't run home.
my dad was I think he was working at the rec center, and I just went out there and said, "There's a guy in the back. He just beating up all the little kids on the table. Can't nobody even play no more." And
Yeah,
yeah, he did go. He did tell me to go get his pool stick out of the car. And when he
yeah.
and then like you say, but you two, y'all was like friends forever. So
Oh man.
I was I was more like because like I said, you were older, so working with him and
Yeah.
things like that. So you saw him a lot more than I did with that. But at the same time, um, he, yeah, bowling together and all the other activities you did. So, he definitely was a good man and God rest his soul for sure. But the direction, and helping you get to where you are and the man that you are, and I can say it helped me as well because at the same time, if nothing else, keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, and this and that. So I'm not gonna say every day was roses and every day was flowers and all that other stuff. But I have a lot of memories where it was good. There's some good days and really good days, and I'm like and the competitive spirit that I got, I definitely know that came from him to a point
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
ain't gonna let me. He wouldn't let me win nothing.
Nah,
I mean,
man.
yeah, I don't like. Well, let him win. Like that ain't happening. So if you want to win, you got to earn it, and that's the bottom line with me right now. You got to earn it.
I
So
remember the
100%.
first time he called me and said, "Man, I think I'm in trouble. I think he might get me in bowling, man." He said, "I think I'm in trouble, man." And he said, seriously, he said, "Oh man," and Freddie could bowl. And he's
Right.
like, "Oh man, you don't understand, man. This guy, I just barely got him the other day." But he was so proud of you, man. But here's the thing, Bill, Big Jack,
No, you get.
you gotta understand is you. I mean, the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Mm,
Man, your demeanor, the way you are on this show is the way you are. So let's
mm.
get to it, man. I'm sorry, but I just
No,
had
you
to.
good. This good.
I
No,
apologize
no,
for that,
no,
man.
no,
You
no,
know,
no.
I'm a big
This is good
fan.
talk. This is
I'm a
good
big fan.
conversation.
I'm a
That is
big
good
fan. To
conversation.
be a firefighter, and I say all that to say this: to be a firefighter, is one of those things. You need to be a decent person. You need to, like
Mm,
life 101. Don't follow a bad decision with a stupid decision.
mm,
So I would say to anyone, even if you don't know what you want to do, don't do anything that will remove you from a process that you're not even aware of, that you're not even aware that you may be interested in. So keep your driving record clean. You know, right now for me, you know, the marijuana laws changed just after I retired, but they were being looked at when I retired. So now, trying to find a guy who's not smoking weed is almost not impossible. But you need to understand at a young age that there are jobs out there that marijuana is not allowed. And
right,
you will
right,
be taking a drug test, you will be taking a physical. And these tests are random. So, what I just try to tell these guys, man, is like the average guy is gonna probably make a dumb decision right prom night, graduation night, because he's grown, you know. And so you make a decision that one decision that you make can mess you up for the rest of your life. It won't give you an opportunity. A lot of these kids don't even want to get driver's licenses.
mm,
Like I said, I did my last 3 in recruiting, man. I got guys that don't have driver's license because in the ride share era, I don't need a license. I'm good. No, you do need a driver's license.
right,
You
right,
do need a driver's license. You will have a background check. You will have a physical. Um, you will have a psychological evaluation, not to see if you're crazy, but to see if you are a good fit
right,
for the
right.
fire service, to
Mm,
see if you practice deception.
mm,
A lot of people practice deception, and what that means is, when you get into people say things like, uh, "You didn't ask me that." See, to tell the truth, this is my opinion, and this is the fact. To tell the truth has to come with two things. You got to tell the truth, but you have to put it in proper context, and you have to be transparent. Because I can tell you the truth and tell you the lie, and then I have to basically tell you that you didn't ask me that specific question. So little things like this, man. I would have a conversation with a class of young kids, and I'd say, okay, and this is kind of crazy, but it worked every time. I have a class of 30 people. I'm talking to them, and I say, hey, look, pretend, because I didn't have it in my pocket, but pretend I have 30 $100 bills. I'll put them on the table. Someone calls me, and I go outside the room. I leave the room. Nobody leaves the room behind me, and nobody comes in the room after I leave.
mm,
But when I get back in the room, my 30 $100 bills, my $3,000 is gone. I ask each of you individually, did you take my $3,000? And they say no. I ask that all the way around the room. Well, yet my money is missing. How can that be? That's a riddle for the day.
mm,
How can that be? My
right.
money's missing. Nobody came in the room. Nobody left the room. My money's missing. And everybody says they didn't take my $3,000. Oh, I'm sorry, but my $3,000 is missing.
It's
How does
missing.
how does that happen?
All right. All right. So everybody in the chat, you just heard the riddle down. He got the riddle. $3,000 sitting on the table. He left the room. He comes back. No one left the room after him. No one came in the room after him. but the 3,000 is gone. How can that be? So that they put it down in the chat if you got an answer. Let's see if anybody come up with the answer.
Anybody
But
comes
you got
up
to
with
break it down to us and let us know at the end. All right.
okay.
All right, so we want to acknowledge that. So I got MCK Phenomenal Files. He's out there, or Paranormal Files. I'm sorry, Paranormal Files. He's in there. He got his blue jacket on, so we had to take care of him. Nisi Jackson is in there. Thank you, Nisi, for coming out and supporting. So Nisi Jackson, if you didn't know, well, that's my aunt. That's my aunt Nisi. So she's down there.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
she's
Nisi.
definitely she's
All right,
definitely a supporter. She definitely
all right.
100% support the channel. So
Got
and anyone else that didn't know there, and then, of
got
course we got Creating Change. And Because I Can is in here now. So hey, Because I Can, how you doing? And thanks for being on the Iron Sharpening Iron show. We got Walter Jernigan here. He's breaking down firefighting experiences from the Washington D.C. area, where he is now a retired fireman,
I was in
but a
DC property.
firefighter. Say again.
I was in DC property, in DC
In
property.
DC, yeah. So
Yeah, I
he's
lived
in
in
DC.
DC firefighter.
So and but he's retired now, but he was definitely active DC firefighter. And ended up with the rank of what was your rank when you
Captain,
finished?
captain. Yeah.
Captain? Okay.
My goal was captain of the safety patrols, and I was captain of the fire department. And I walked out the door at 50.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
retired. I'll
Well,
tell you about that too. The fire department
uh,
has 25-year retirement, 50 years of age. For me, now it's just a straight 25. And I was able to walk out the door at 50 years old. I could have walked out at 46, 47, but I didn't have the age. So I had the time. I did 28 years, 2 months, and 28 days, but who's counting, right?
all right. So Because I Can made a comment that someone pocketed the money. But remember, he said that wait a minute, that part of the question was he talked to everyone individually and said, "Did you take my money?"
Did you
So
take my $3,000?
did you take my $3,000? So let's see if we can get that answer. So you did retire, but we're gonna go before we get to how the
Mhm.
retirement broke down. Can you share a successful story while you were a firefighter? Is there any
Yes.
success stories that you
So,
can share with us?
so first of all, I'm not a guy who watches. I saw Backdraft. I don't watch the firefighter shows, just like you probably don't watch the shows that from your profession, because it's Hollywood, right?
Mm,
In a fire situation, you can't see your hand in front of your face. So imagine walking in your house with the lights off, and in your house the lights off, and you stub your toe on the coffee table, right, on
mm,
the dining room table, the chair, whatever. Now you put that room on fire, fill it up with smoke, put some holes in the walls, add an accelerant if it was an arson situation, and that's firefighting. I mean, it's one of those situations where everything that's living is trying to get out of the room, instead of including rats, roaches, and people. You know what I mean?
mm,
Trying to get out of the room, and we are going into this situation, and we're not willy nilly. We have standard operating procedures. We have standard operating guidelines. We have a process that we respect. That you don't just walking in like a cowboy. And that's back to the discipline piece. That's where you have to be able to your position. You played football, correct?
mm. Correct.
All right. If they expect you to do a 22 dive, that's where they
That's it.
expect you to be,
That was the
right?
play. Yep, that's the
That was
play.
the
Yep.
play. 2 yards in the cloud of dust. I mean, that's where you are. So, you know, I played little league football. I played Pop Warner football. I learned at an early age. I played defensive end, but this is just another life lesson that I took with me in the firefighting. Played defensive end. Nobody's running to my side. So what does that mean? I must be doing pretty good because nobody's
Yep.
coming to my
Ain't
side,
nobody
right?
coming that way, right?
My job is to box the play in, right?
Correct.
Three this way, box it in. But my father is in the stand. My mother's in the stand. I got some friends in the stand. I want some action. I want
Mm,
action. So uh, they call the play. I see the quarterback. I'm going to light him up. So I jackknife. I go in at 45 degrees, and what happened?
oh, they got around you.
He pitched the ball out, got around me, and my
Yeah.
father, the Marine, who was just, I thought was the meanest guy in the world at the time, but man, he was right on point. He said, and now everybody knows who you are for the
Mm.
wrong reason.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's just one of those things that stuck with me.
Right. Right.
So when you take that to firefighting, you're supposed to be in your position. You got the plane crash the other day. It seems like a lot going on, but everyone out there has something to do. And if the incident commander is expecting you to do something, just like in the military,
Mm,
you need to do it. And if you
right.
can't do it, you need to let them know that it's not done, or you need you to let them know when it's done. So you gotta, so that hero thing, and I have this conversation because I was a training instructor, I was a driving instructor, I've been in communications, I've been in fire prevention, of course, I've been in firefighting, uh, uh, and I did my last 3 in recruiting. And you try to instill this in people, like, hey man, the mission, the process is bigger than your individual goals, accolades, whatever. So back to, I've been in big fires, I've been in little fires. The ones you see, it's like, oh my God, this is the biggest fire in the world. Those are not the ones. It's that 2-story row house that you go up to and you just see smoke puffing, you know, and you see somebody on the second floor and it's cold, and somebody on the second floor throws a baby out the window, and it just looks like it's not really much happening. The next thing you know, all hell broke loose. Excuse my expression.
Yeah.
All hell breaks loose. Or at the Omni Showroom Hotel, when you go in there and you got a disgruntled employee who started 2 fires previously, and then next thing you know, he goes down the basement and hit jackpot with the mattresses and the sternos and all that, and you down in the basement, man. And I literally that day left the firehouse. I mean, left the fire ground, went to the firehouse, got my clothes and stuff, and I went straight to church. I'll never forget that, because I'm
Mm.
like, man, I thought that was it. Uh, not trying to get too gory. What's that? Goodfellas. Remember the scene in Goodfellas where the you see all kind of stuff, man. The Goodfellas where they had the guy hanging by his legs, getting
Oh
ready to
yeah,
go in.
yeah, yeah.
Then, well, at the National Zoo back in the probably '90s, somebody jumped in the lion's den.
Oh
You know,
wow.
yeah. I mean, and you got to go deal with that. Then you get, heart attacks. You get high blood pressure. You get some people, man, in a wheelchair just need assistance to getting back in the bed, out of the bed, to the bathroom. So all of these things, you do public service calls. You are a public servant. Your job is to help people. First and foremost, you're a firefighter, emergency medical technician. So your job is to help people. Everybody wants to come and, I want to be the fireman. I don't want to ride the ambulance, but that's part of your job.
Mm.
That's part of your job. And I take it personally because I'm a DC resident. I live in DC. So I
Right,
take it
right,
personally
okay.
because it's like, hey man, you are here to serve me. Just like if I were in your neighborhood serving you, you would expect me to be a professional. You're a professional firefighter. Even as a, and I'm using that term loosely because even as a volunteer, you are still governed by the rules
Right, right,
of
right.
the agency.
Yeah.
So people say that I'm just a volunteer. No, man, the volunteer fire does not know. Emergencies don't know the difference between paid and volunteer firefighters. So respect, hats off to the volunteer firefighters out there, man, because DC is all paid, but man, respect to the guys who have a pager, hear the siren, get out the bed, leave their families, and go take care of their community, man. So much respect for those guys, man.
No, 100%. Yeah, and that's the thing. Now I wasn't a firefighter, so I have no firefighting experience and things like
You would
that.
be a
But
great
I,
firefighter, man. You'd be a good truck man. You'd be a good
yeah,
truck.
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, but I was definitely an MP, so I
Yeah,
remember being that first responder and getting that
yeah,
call, and that and
yeah.
and every call, even if we think it's nothing or that's some minor whatever, it was an emergency to the person that
Yes,
made the
to the person
call.
is called.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
person that made the call, it was an emergency. So when you went in there, you had that mindset that it's not about me, it's about the person who made the call.
Yes,
And because of that, let me go in this house, and regardless what it is, not to say, well, that's just the dumbest thing I ever seen, or that's so stupid, or whatever.
bro.
But it's like for that person, it was an emergency. Now, the one of my little stories, and
Mm-hmm.
not to take away from me, yeah, because you're like, but the one I thought was so easy was I had a kid locked in a bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
and the kid was locked in the bathroom, and it had the bathroom lock had the hole on it, right? So it had the
Mm-hmm.
hole. So I'm like, as soon as I walk in, I already know what I need. So I'm like, I know what I need. The kid's inside though, and why the parent was so upset because she knew that the kid was inside and he couldn't figure out how to get out, but
Mm-hmm.
he was eating the toothpaste. So now it's like he's gonna end up poisoning himself and then eating the dang toothpaste. So we got to get him out of there. So I'm like, ma'am, do you have a coat hanger? Do you have a coat hanger? She like, we need a coat hanger for us. I said, just put the hanger in that hole and it's gonna pop that lock open and we're gonna get him out. And it was so simple that you didn't have to call me. But when you're in panic, you don't
Yeah.
even realize that it's so simple, that it's so easy to fix this problem right here, but you don't see it because you're in panic. I see my kid on the other side, poison
Hey,
controls on the phone,
yeah.
all this other stuff is going on, and it's like I just need a coat hanger. All I need is a coat hanger, and we're gonna take care of this problem. And so but anyway, so thank you for sharing with that.
Here's one worth a good laugh. Okay, cats up a tree. We run cats
All
up a
right.
tree. Have you ever? So you get on the scene. You got the cat up the tree. The whole neighborhood's there. You got the little kid crying. The mother's, she's like, oh my God, the cat's up the tree. The kid is crying. The father's like, oh man, I'm sorry to bother you with this, man. And then, but he's under a lot of pressure because,
Mm,
hey, dad, do something, right? So, as an officer, even as a firefighter, but as an officer, my guys are working, they're doing whatever they can, send the rookie up, put all his gear on, go up, because it's a good public service call, right?
mm,
And a lot of times we'll stay in service while we do it. So it's not like it's preventing us from doing anything else, but it's a good public service call. So I always take the father to the side and say, hey man, have you ever seen a dead cat in a tree? And he's like, no. I said, because they always come down. Because they always come down on their own.
right,
We'll
right.
go up and get the cat and yada, yada, yada. So, it's like, hey, man, these are their tax dollars, right? And to the person who is just like, oh, man, they wasting their services. But, hey, man, it's a public service call. We work a 24-hour shift. We're off for 72 hours.
Mm,
So, for instance, you go to work, what's tomorrow? Monday morning?
right.
You go to work Monday morning at 0700, but we can leave 2.5 hours early. You get off from work Tuesday morning, then you're off all day Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You go back Friday, so you can work. Man, I've had so many part-time jobs, side hustles. It's just like a great thing, man. Matter of fact, being retired, I was, the fire department guys run businesses. They're plumbers, electricians, anything you want done. There's a guy who or lady
You
who on the
know,
fire in the fire service that can do it.
right.
So it was just a great opportunity to do all of those things, man. Again, back to the deception piece, you need a person that's decent because I'm coming into your house.
Mm,
Just think about it. I'm coming into your house. If I came in your house right now, all of your personal belongings there. You have money, you have jewelry, you have firearms, you have personal property. And when you leave the house, I have access to your home. I don't need somebody in there. You don't
oh,
need somebody on the job that's not trustworthy.
right, right, right,
Right? I
right.
mean, in this world of YouTube videos,
Yeah.
unfortunately, somebody
Look.
sent me the other day. A guy walks in and he takes the money off the dresser, and of course the camera caught him, and then he puts it back. But I mean, a guy like that, nobody hates a guy like that more than a guy like me, or a guy who like you, a guy. I mean, you just
Yeah.
people. You are a public service. Your job is public safety, public service. Hey man, we're in the White House. No matter who's the president, we're going to helicopter details. No matter who the president is, you're a professional. You
Right.
know, um, you go every time the president's helicopter lands and takes off. The fire department is there.
Oh, okay.
That was my company was there up at the Naval Observatory, mostly for the vice president. When we weren't there, we'd be at the White House. I mean, we working with Secret Service. You have a uniform on with this your military guy. You
Right.
go to the airport right now, guys get on, walk through the airport with a service uniform on. People clapping,
Clapping. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I've given my seat up to a guy in the military,
Mm,
so they can sit together.
right, right.
Nice good old, not first class because I don't have that kind of money, but a good extra row seat.
Yeah, yeah. I got
But I
you.
mean,
I
hey
got
man,
you.
look, you sit here with your guy. Where are you? I'm going back to 28E or whatever it is. You know what
Mm,
I mean? So
right, right, right.
because the thing is, man, I respect that. I mean, like like people see, nobody really sees what we do. I mean,
Mm,
you see us sitting out front of the firehouse, you see the military guys, but you don't really see what we do.
right, right, right. Yeah.
So
When the call
yeah,
comes
when the call
in,
comes, what it really
and like
takes, man. Yeah,
even like what you made the comment, you're leaving your family, you're leaving your home, you're going. And the thing is, it could be an emergency even where you are,
yeah.
so it's like, it's an emergency where I am, but I got to leave my home and go to someone else's home because that's my job. That's the mission I'm on. That's my service to the community. So for
So
sure, for sure. Let me before we go, well,
good.
before you go to the next one, let me acknowledge some people that's in there. So Ellen Smiles is in there. Hello, Ellen, how you doing? And you might know this name. Walt Sharon Jackson is in here, so she's down in
Hey,
there now.
all right.
She's supporting too. So,
Uh-huh.
this is the Iron Shopping and Iron Show. We got my man Walter Jernigan in here, retired D.C. fireman. He's breaking down some of the stories he had and some of his experiences as a firefighter. And he got one for us. He put a riddle out there for us, or not even a riddle, but a lesson that he was sharing with a class that he had, and he's going to give us an answer at the end. And then a couple of people said, now everyone's in the classroom is a suspect. So I'm sure that's true. Everybody's a suspect. You question everybody. And I believe Anisha
Let me
said
say
she
this.
took the
They
money.
all answered the question truthfully.
Everybody answered the question truthfully. So
Everyone
that
answered
just
the
throw a
question.
little bit
They
more
answered
to
my
it.
question truthfully. They all answered my.
So the thing is, Walt walked into a classroom with 30 students, and there was he had $3,000 in $100 bills in his pocket, so 31 $100 bills. He laid it on the table. He had to leave the room. So when he left the room, no one came out behind him, and no one came into the room after he left. But when he got back, the 30 $100 bills was missing. He questioned everybody in the room, every last one of them in the room. Did you take the money?
Did you take the three
And
thousand dollars?
did you take the $3,000? And all of them said no. So, and he's like, well, where did it go? So now that's the riddle. He's gonna now, or that's the question, and he's gonna break it down to us at the end. If you have an answer for us, please put it in the comments. And thank you for everybody's in here. I've been trying to give everybody the blue jackets. And Walt, if you don't understand the blue jacket is once they get the blue jacket, excuse me, they become a moderator in the chat,
Okay.
so they can actually go in and they can use it as a networking tool, so they can go to each other's channels and greet and meet each other like that. But if someone was to come in and try to disrupt this show, the moderators down there would definitely go in attack mode and help kick some people out and things like that. So that's what
So
we used it for. So they're
speaking
part
of
of my
disrupt,
team. They're part
speaking
of
of
my team right
disrupting the
now.
show,
Go ahead.
I feel like I'm disrupting the show. So what's your next question, man? I'm sorry. What's your next question?
No, no,
Because you know I can talk to you all day,
no, no,
man.
no.
I'm
You right
sorry
on
about that,
pace. Nah, you on
man.
pace.
And I apologize to your audience, man, because
Nah,
I'm just
you
talking to
know.
my man Big Jack. You know, just having fun with
Nah. So there's a question up there right now. So wait a minute, there was one in the comments. I want to before
you.
we get to that, I want to say I
Okay.
think because I can put something up, and I'm not 100% understanding. He said, "Did the canvas jacket burn? The rubber lining melted to the point of failure. No more water via that hose." And I'm not sure exactly what he mean, but I was thinking
So
maybe. Good.
so our jackets have a vapor barrier in them.
Hmm,
If that's what he's talking about. But it can get to the point. There's no such thing as fireproof. It's fire
hmm,
retardant. But I mean, there have been times, man. You know, and the sad part is, but it's good, but it's bad. Our gear is so much better, even from when I came on to when I left, that by the time you feel heat, you already burned.
right,
You
right.
know, because it gives you that level of protection.
Hmm,
But then when you feel the heat, you're burning.
it's
And then you take your gear off, and and thank God I've just had first degree, second degree, slight second degree, never a third degree. But we get guys, man, who and I say guys, I'm using a generic term here. You have people who've been burned. I mean, third degree burns, man. We've had some serious fires. It's a great opportunity, but it's a dangerous job. Your insurance company would tell you that the average firefighter, police officer, take 10 years off of your life.
hmm,
It's a dangerous job. You need, most people think it's fire related stuff. Most firefighters, a lot of firefighters die of, I think Montgomery County just had one, a medical emergency. I don't know the specifics, so I'm not going to speak on his situation, but I can't tell you how many guys have heart attacks,
hmm,
because you're sitting in the firehouse or you're in the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Just imagine, Big Jack, you're in the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. The bells ring, the lights come on, you not getting graphic, but you wish you could run to the bathroom, but you got to get on the fire truck. And within 30 seconds, 45 seconds, you're out the door, you know? And
right.
your heart goes from 0 to 100. It goes from a smooth, 68 beats per minute to 130, 140, and then you're getting down the street, you got sirens blaring, you got, you're getting dressed, you got, and you smell smoke, you know? Or just imagine, you get a report of a plane crash, or you get a report of a boat, or you get a report of a jumper, a traffic accident.
Hmm,
You're not exempt from anything, man. I mean, and people always used to blow my mind, especially when you go to dinner, you hang out with a group of people. you go to some of these events and, it's 10 people at the table and everybody's having a discussion, so it always comes up, hey, what do you do for a living? So, yeah, I'm a firefighter, I'm a retired firefighter. And then people want to hear stories, right?
Mm.
And it's one of those things, man, where it's like, I didn't hear about that on the news. I mean, like, so much happens in the course of a day
Right,
that
right.
never makes the news, man. It's just like, it's just like stuff. And then you need to decompress. Like I like to play golf, as you know.
Mm. Yeah,
I
yeah.
like to bowl, as you know. And
Yep.
I'm not a real gamer. I don't call myself a gamer, but I've been a PlayStation guy forever. My name on my PlayStation, is Fire Escape.
Mm.
Because that's how I used to
Gotcha.
get away.
Right,
I'd
right.
probably be a better golfer if, but my goal in golf, I mean, I'm okay. We play together. But hey man, that's my way to get out, enjoy nature, enjoy the walk. I like to ride motorcycles. So I ride motorcycles. So
Mm.
uh, if I live my life, my golf life, like I live my fire department life and my motorcycle life, I'd probably be on tour. Because
Okay,
I
right.
respect those things, because those things give you instant feedback. You make
Right,
a bad
right.
mistake, you die. Or
Right.
you kill somebody.
Mm.
But in golf, I mean, we all been there in the woods with this much of a window, and it's like, oh man, I can hit through
I
that.
could do that.
I
Yeah, I
can
could do
get
that.
out of
Take a
here. You
lot,
know what I mean?
take a lot of big risk, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
man.
got you.
So but in firefighting, you can't do that, man. You
Right.
gotta go with the money. You gotta go with the sure thing. Sure thing is as close to the sure thing as you know it. Yeah.
Right, right. So I want to catch up to people who came in. So we got
Sure.
Joe Remington. He's in the chat,
Hey, Joe.
and we see Mind Games is there. So hello, Mind Games. Hello, Joe. Tracy Local Learnings is in here. So hello, Tracy's. Looking through Missy's channel is in here. Hello, Missy. And then so for those who don't know, I got Walter Jernigan with me. He's definitely been breaking it down to us. So as a former DC fireman or firefighter, and he's retired now, but he's just giving us some things. And I know I got a question that would motivate you, but it's one of those things I guess as we were talking, I wanted to give more of a public service so you can help us out there. So how important is it for the smoke detectors and the what's the one the carbon dioxide detectors
Okay,
and
so
all?
so
So yeah.
so first of all, I'm a terrible friend, man. I'm a terrible friend because I'm the guy when I'm talking to you and I hear your smoke detector chirp. I'm like, hey man, is that the smoke detector? And unfortunately, sometimes it's a fireman. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So
Right,
I'm like,
right.
hey man, you gotta so change your batteries in your smoke detectors when you change your clocks, when you set your clocks, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Your carbon monoxide detectors. These things are not meant to last forever. And if you bought a new house, most of these things are builder grade. So here's the thing. Most fire departments, they do have programs that will come around and change your smoke detectors, right? But we're talking about a 5, 10, 15, sometimes $20 item, right? Even carbon monoxide detectors. When you they have a buildup, there's a process on how you clear them and put them back in service. If you have a lot of new houses have electric heat, right?
Mm.
Heat pumps and everything. But I live in my house was built in 1929. So I have a boiler. So I got gas heat and radiators, right?
Mm.
So you walk in somebody's house and it's shut up like a drum. Going grandma's house is hot. You know, carbon monoxide detectors going off, or somebody is got the stove going to have a clean burnt or clean flame on the stove. These things can all set the detectors off, but these things can also kill you in your sleep.
Right,
You
right.
know. But then as a fireman, you have to have empathy. You just can't come in and start cutting off like heat to the whole building in the middle of winter.
Mm.
So you have to consider these things. So you got to get the gas. I mean, there's just a lot going on. But as far as detectors, that's easy. That's easy, man. It breaks my heart every time you hear somebody died in a house fire and the smoke detectors were inoperable. And here's the other thing: as a firefighter, when I come to your house uh, uh, for a call, even if it's just a public service call, I'm checking your smoke detector
Right, right. Okay.
because we live in such a litigious society, and this is not just because I'm scared of getting sued, but just think about it. Play this thing all the way to the end. I come in your house. 3 times a week to help you get back in bed because you fallen and can't get up, right? These things
Right.
really happen,
Right.
right? Okay. Your wife can't get you back in bed. You big jack. You had surgery. Trying to get you to the bathroom. You call 911, and that's we show up. And that, I'm
I got
not that's what it is. God forbid something happens at Big Jack's house. First thing you're gonna say, man, the fire department was here 3 times last week. You know,
you.
I
Right.
didn't
No,
take
I
the
got you.
temperature.
That
You know,
makes
I
sense.
come in
That
your
makes
house.
sense.
I come in your house. Um, um, you don't want to go to the hospital. What's the number one thing people do when they have a heart attack? They
Mm.
deny it.
They die. Yeah. Yeah.
They deny it.
Right.
So hey, man, let's get you to the hospital to get you checked out because we're emergency medical technicians. We do have paramedic firefighters, but we still need to get you to the hospital.
Right.
Let's get you checked out. So
Right.
the process, there's a lot of things you're responsible for, man. It's not like showing up at somebody's door. Oh, this is no big deal and going back to the firehouse. Because for me, even on an automatic fire alarm, you show up 10 times down on K Street for an automatic fire alarm, and we've all done it. And the next thing you know, it goes off again. You go upstairs, and this happened to me, but I was a rookie,
Mm.
so I still had all my gear. In my company, they didn't have their gear on, and we take the elevator up, which we shouldn't have done but it's automatic fire alarm. We've been there 3 times that night,
Right. Right. Right.
and we on the elevator, man, and we push like say the 10th floor, but we go to the 8th floor, so we'll walk up two floors. The thing goes to the 10th floor, doors open up, and we got action.
Oh man.
We got
Wow. Wow.
action. And me being a rookie, everybody's scrambling and pushing buttons. Me being a rookie, got my
Yes,
mask
sir.
on, because I'm a rookie, right? I haven't been
Right.
poisoned by a rookie. Why you got your bottle on? Right? I'm still respecting the process.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Right.
hey man, you just never know, man. Car accidents, you car accident, man. You never know what you're dealing with. You never know who
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you have in the car. So you never know what the result of the accident is. What caused the accident?
What
What's your
caused it?
next? So I wanted to be a firefighter because it gave me a chance to serve my community.
Yeah.
It gave me a chance to make a good living, have a lot of fun, and I learned
So,
a lot. I learned an
so
awful
check
lot.
it out. Check it out, Walt. I know it's hard to believe, but we already went a whole hour.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. This is perfect.
Okay.
This is perfect. So what happened is, and normally I try to end and not end, but I try to end
Okay.
on time. But
Okay.
because we have now put in the after show, we can
Okay.
actually continue on because we threw
Okay.
in the after show. So
Sign me up.
if you can hang on, that would be perfect. I mean, so and then
Yeah.
now this is where now I'm gonna try to break down how the after show works.
Okay.
So Iron Sharpening Iron now has an after show, and what that is, we will bring other people on that might want to be a guest and come in with you, and they can
Mhm.
now be in here with us and they can ask questions and things like that, and we can just
Okay.
have one bigger conversation instead of being in the chat. No one has to leave the chat. We'll send
Okay.
the link out, so the link will be in the chat, and if anybody
Mhm.
wants to come in, we can invite them in now so they can come in and we can have a deeper conversation about what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
But while I put that link down there and let the people start coming in if they want to,
Hmm.
they would have to copy the link. I'm not sure if you can. It's a hyperlink. I'm not sure how it comes across to the people in the chat, but if it's a hyperlink, just hit the link if you want to come in, and we'll bring you into the after show. But the question right now that's across that board right now up on the screen, it says, "What advice would you give someone who wanted to become a firefighter?" So if I came to you and say, "Hey,
Hmm.
Walt, I want to be a firefighter. What advice would you give to me?" And while you're giving me that answer, I'm gonna put that link down in the
Okay.
in the chat. Go ahead, sir.
I would say, just man, be a good person. Everything your parents telling you is the same thing, man. Like with the books, everything I needed to know, I learned by the time I was a fifth grader. Hey, man, it's the same stuff. Keep your driving record clean. Keep your urine clean. Keep your criminal background clean. We don't. In some jurisdictions, DC doesn't, but some jurisdictions give a polygraph. Here's the thing: we're not looking for perfect people. We're looking for honest people. Which brings me back to that $3,000 question. Did we get that?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. What's up?
All right. So I go in the room, $3,100 bills. I leave the room, come back. Nobody comes out. Nobody comes in behind me. When I come back, the $3,000 is missing. I ask each individual, "Did you take my $3,000?" Everyone tells me no. All of them are telling the truth because everybody got $100,
Yeah, yeah.
which is deception.
Mm.
Because when I say who took my $3,000, the real question is who took the money.
Right, right.
Because an honest person doesn't split hairs like that.
Mm.
An honest person will tell you, I didn't touch a dime of your money. So when a person says, I did not take your $3,000, be wary of that person.
Right,
You
right.
know, when the person hits you with the, I did not ask, you did not ask me that, I'm always leery of that person.
Right, 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 right.
It's like playing golf. When we hit a golf ball in the woods, hey man, I see something over here. Then you go to your ball. You just don't go in there, find the ball. I got it, and then come out because you remove the appearance of impropriety. And a person who is telling the truth and is accustomed to telling the truth and putting things in perspective with transparency is going to they're not going to play those games with you. They're going to tell
Right.
the truth. And when a lot of people get knocked out of the mix, just not that question, but just by being deceptive in their actions. And
Mm,
you'd
I
be
got you.
surprised in social media era, it's like it's just a white lie, right? No big deal. I mean, everybody knows that I'm balling. I got a boat and I got a jet and I have all this stuff, right? But I'm from an era where you had to be who you can't pretend to be who you don't intend to be.
Right, right, right.
So, and that's why that's the new fire department because the fire department, police department, military are all microcosms of the world.
Right,
So
right.
you get these people with these tendencies, it's tough. It's tough.
No,
And I mean, they don't see the big deal, but I mean, it's knocking a lot of people out of opportunity. So what I would
no,
say, just be a good person. Just be a good
no. And I want you. I mean, the industry I'm in now, and I don't ever, share my industry and
person.
they, but the industry I'm in now, your integrity is everything.
Everything.
So, your word is your word. Now, if you cheat yourself, you one, you cheat yourself. That's like when we play golf, that's
Right.
the whole thing. We talk about it and you like, you're cheating yourself, but then you're cheating me, especially if we're doing skins or something like that. Like,
A dollar.
you're trying to, and the thing is, it's so cheap because we're paying for a dollar.
A
It ain't
dollar.
like
A
it ain't
dollar.
like it's big dollars. So it's like it's not like you're not gonna pay your mortgage with this, but
Right.
you're gonna cheat me over a dollar. So if you'll cut me for a dollar, I know you're gonna cut me for more. So
Yeah.
and then we lose you lose that I lose that trust in you. Like I say, we had a situation the other day, and I'm gonna share
Mm.
this as we. And if you want to come on into the Iron Shopping and Iron After Show, please go ahead and hit that. Get the link. The link is already in the chat. You can go ahead and start coming in, and I'll get you in because we're now over our time for the Iron Shop Iron Show. And I want to thank you, Walt, for being here with
Amen.
me. It's been, I mean, it was so fast. Like I say, time flies when you're having fun, having a good time, and I appreciate you being here. But don't go away because I want
I'm not
to
gonna
be
go
able
anywhere.
to continue to talk with you. But we're going to change the setting of the show, and now it's the what we call it the after show. So it's
Okay.
like this where this came from was every time you went to a party, well I did when I was young. I went to a party, and when the party was over, everybody say, "Well, where's the after party?" Because
After
we
party.
wasn't
Yeah.
done. We wasn't done
Yeah.
partying yet. So now
Yeah.
where's the after party?
Yeah.
So what we said we're going to do, or what I ended up coming up saying, okay, well we're going to have a after show. So you see, I
Yeah.
just changed the logo up in the top right corner. So
I see
now
that.
it's
Okay. So we're in.
yeah. So
We're in
now
the.
it's the real talk. Yeah, with Big Jack. So we're in the after show right now. We
Okay.
just we
Okay.
just flipped it over, and this is a time where we allow other people to come in. So if there's anyone who wants to come in and talk, but we're going to continue to keep talking. We got people that's still out there in the chat,
Mm.
and if they need to leave, we fully understand.
Okay.
But I wanted to continue to talk with you because it's good information, and um part of that the information because it's needed information. It's information that if you wanted to be a firefighter, but letting us know about the smoke detectors and
Mm-hmm.
the carbon dioxide detectors and things like that, because it is a shame and it's very sad when someone you hear about someone losing their life
Oh,
or losing their property, and it's like you had all these other ways, and you do. We watch thousands and thousands of videos and we laugh at it because we hear the chirping in the back.
you hear it
We
in the
hear the thing
background
going
all
off,
the
and
time.
it's like, and now
Yeah.
it's become like a joke. But it's like if
Yeah.
something was to actually happen, and it's like how many times have we watched that video
Yeah.
and viewed that person and all of
Yeah.
this, and it's a $2 $3 battery that could have maybe saved their
Yeah.
life or whatever. So I do take it serious as well. especially when I hear them going off and even running the test. But what I don't do, and I'm gonna ask you as a former firefighter, and before I even ask that question, so I'm gonna say, Sharon Jackson said, "Awesome job." Ellen said, "Good information." Creating change said, "Y'all did an outstanding job." So all this is going back to you, sir, because you definitely did a great.
Man.
Average Asia's in this, and how do y'all? So, and then Mind Game said, "Great job." But if anyone wants to come on in, they're more than welcome to come in. The link, I'll put the link down there again. It is a different link because this is not the one we normally go, but it's a link that we have to use for this live today. And I'm gonna put it in there again, and hopefully we'll get somebody. Or maybe we do, maybe we don't. But if we do, we're gonna keep talking. If we don't, this is me and you. I love this. I can talk to you all day. So,
Okay, so let me like back to the what can you do question, right?
mhm.
So after COVID, man, people during COVID, people just driving. It seems like they're more reckless after COVID. Matter of fact, you have a generation of people of drivers who who started driving during COVID with no traffic, unlimited speed limits, yada yada yada.
Mm,
20, excuse me, 20 miles over the speed limit is reckless driving.
okay,
So if you get a reckless driving charge, I can't touch you for 3 years.
gotcha.
You know what I
Mm,
mean? So, you know, they charge you with 20 over the speed limit is one thing, but they charge you with reckless driving, I can't touch you because the rules, regulations, guidelines, and procedures that guide us in DC, you have to be removed from those things. So just something as simple as a guy flying down 270, doing 20 miles over the speed limit, 25, which is not hard to do, right?
right,
And you get a reckless driving charge, man, you may have just talked yourself out of a career, you know? So, and back to the young folk, even if you do have a charge, tickets, anything like that, get that stuff removed from your record.
right,
Just like,
right.
I mean, you were in college and you protested the piece of burgers in the cafeteria, and you got your parents gave you the $5,000 lawyer and they told you don't worry about it. It's like it never happened. I'm telling you, when we run your background, it's going to show up. And if you don't tell us, you're going to be disqualified for it. So little
Gotcha.
things like that, man, like the decisions you make at a young age will affect you the rest of your life. And I mean, I don't know another way to say that. And it seems kind of like, oh man, because everybody's, word on the street, and I got a cousin, right? Everybody's
Mm.
got word on the street and a cousin, they told them, oh no, I heard it's different. I'm telling you, these things will have an adverse effect in your life.
No, and that's what's up. So, and we do got someone trying to come in as a guest, so we're gonna bring them in.
Okay.
But a question came across from Tracy's local landings, learnings. I'm sorry, Tracy. She said, "What's the best method to distinguish a kitchen fire?" So, if you had a
Okay.
kitchen fire, what's the best? So that's
All right.
I'm more thinking we're thinking grease fire or something like that.
Okay, yeah, so that's a great question. So you want to you got heat, fuel, oxygen, the fire triangle as a kid, right? How you doing? And
Look,
and your initial instinct is to put water on everything, right? But you frying chicken, you frying fish, you got grease going up the wall. Hey man, just smother the fire. Put a top on it, right? Just smother. You want to remove the oxygen from the fire. Without oxygen, it can't. But it's most people, their initial thing is grab water, pour water on a grease fire, and it's you know. Now here's the funny part. I can't tell you how many times we run a call for a fire in the oven. It's already contained in the oven.
right.
And then people open up the oven door, and then next thing you know, you got smoke fire all the way up the walls in the kitchen because you done it. And then you should have a smoke detector in your house. But having a smoke detector in your house and putting it next to the stove may not be the best place for it because when the kitchen catches fire, you may not be able to get to it. And it should be an ABC detector, which is like a dry chem, which is not water, but it's a nasty dry powder extinguisher. And I've had personal experiences in my home with that. And I'm telling you, man, it's just like smother it, remove the oxygen. If you take any one of those things out, the heat, the fuel, the oxygen, remove any of those things, you don't have a fire anymore.
Right,
Sometimes, so you might just move it to the side. Uh, you know, don't pour water on it, don't panic. And before you light the stove, while you're just at home cooking sometimes, man, just have these ideas in your head, these what if scenarios. It's like driving your car around the beltway. When somebody does something, you have a what if scenario. If this happens, I'm going to do that. back to the golf course, you know, it's like, hey man, my driver's not working today, right? So, you do what you need to do. Life and firefighting and everything is no different, So definitely smother,
No.
remove it, don't panic, and whatever you do, don't pour water on it.
Yeah. Now, one down there said, Walt, that you could put salt on it. So what?
Yeah,
What?
you can do that too. But I mean, like the thing is, I'm just thinking of my house. Like you put to get to the salt shaker, pour
Right.
enough salt to smother the fire.
Right.
Then you just have a top ready and put on the fire.
Mm.
Turn off the stove, put a top on it, and be done with it. I mean, I mean, some people put it. They sell these blankets now that you can put on it. You know,
Right. Right.
you can go on Facebook or whatever, and there's a blanket that you can put on it that smothers the fire. It's the same concept. You're removing the oxygen from the fire, and that extinguishes your fire. But I'm telling you, man, a fire moves so quickly, and like you see people like, man, think about L.A. We rode our motorcycles across country last year, and man, two of the restaurants that we went to are no longer here.
Mm.
You
Wow.
know,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
and the fire up in the hills. So my opinion, not second guessing anything, right? But if it were a forest fire, you get a line of demarcation, and you basically determine, okay, all of this right here is going to burn, and we're going to make a line of demarcation. We draw the line right here, and we're going to put this thing out, right? But that's hard to do when you're talking about people's homes.
Right. Right.
When you're telling people you're just going to let these 40 homes just burn, you can't do that. So what you do is you find yourself putting out these small, like at work, for putting out these small fires, right? Putting out these small fires.
Mm.
Then you think of the water system. There's not a water system in the United States that can. It's just like take a water hose. You have a sprinkler system at your house.
You talking about? Yeah, yes. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so you have a sprinkler system at your house, and you have zones, right? Well, just try to run all the zones at the same time and tell me what kind of water pressure you get. And that's what it is. So when like I'm not gonna say it's irresponsible, but when you say things on the news without giving the full explanation, people are like, oh, this should have never happened. I'm like, where can you do this? Where
Right.
can you go
Mm.
at your own home? Open up 3 zones on your sprinkler system and get a good stream in your house. If you have sprinklers in your house, once that second or third head comes off, you just got water pouring. You don't have that. You got this.
Gotcha.
So it's just like, man, these things are just like people don't think about some of these things. I mean, hydraulics, man. I mean, the average guy hates math, right? A lot of people hate math, but when you go to fire department hydraulics, bro, you got. When I was a wagon driver, you just can't say a lot of pressure, a lot of fire, a lot of pressure, a little fire, a little pressure. You need to know how much water you're pumping to this other apparatus so you can get the stream at the other end of the at the fire hose, so you can get the stream that you want. You got 160 degrees pound of pressure at the end of the fire hose. You need to know that if you pump 2 lines, you need to know you might have to go up, put this much pressure on there to get that line.
Right.
It's just a
Right.
lot, man. It's just a lot. I mean, people think you take a lot for granted. It's just like you put water on the fire, right? It's kind of simple. You put the wet stuff on the hot stuff, but there's a lot in between there. There's a lot in between. So
No, and I respect that. So I'm more thinking or looking like, do you recommend running like a fire drill in your house for your family or something
absolutely,
like that?
100%.
Mm.
Look, fire drills, where you're going to meet if there's a fire, the escape ladders, you can buy from your local hardware store. Uh, you know, um, some people, uh, you know, just because for security reasons, they have windows nailed shut, screwed shut. You need to know all of these things, and you need to be able to do these things and have a plan when you don't need it. That's the time to make your plan when you don't need it.
Right,
That's
right,
the
right.
time to practice your plan and
Mm.
getting out the house and where we're going to meet. It's like a school fire drill. It's like kids, they know when they have a school fire drill, they go to across the street or wherever and line up. You need to know that. You
Mm.
need to know that. You need to have all those things. And like I said, man, unfortunately, I've been on a few fires where there's been some fatalities of friends of mine who were firefighters and their family, four of their family members were the fatalities, you know.
Oh
And
wow, wow.
hey, bro, it and you know, it killed me, man. But you know, it's like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the nose.
Hmm.
Well, you know, everybody's got a plan until your house is on fire, you know. So
Right.
yeah,
Indeed.
yeah.
All right, so we are at this is the Iron Sharpening Iron after show. We got Walter Jernigan in here. He's our guest from the Iron Sharpening Iron show. He is a retired DC or Washington D.C. firefighter. He's breaking down a lot of stuff for us. We got now creating changes in here. He's here as a panelist during the after show. This is where we come together as a panel and we can ask different questions and get your questions answered. So I want to respect we got creating change in there. Then also want to make sure we acknowledge some of the people. So Peter Perg is down there. Hello, Peter. How you doing? I see Dapper PH is in here. So hey, old Dapper, thank you for showing up. And I think we got a guest that's going to come in. So it's going to be four of us in a second. So let me see if we can
Okay.
get another person in. And boom, we got one adding to the stage, and there he is. We got Mind Games is here.
My
So
man,
now
What's
Mind
going
Games
on?
is
How
in
you
here.
doing tonight?
doing
Yeah,
well,
what's
man.
going on? So,
Hey,
so Walt, you have been breaking it down to us, and you really, to me, you helped a lot. So I've definitely, we've been talking on the things to do and things. And when you just made a comment, so I had a house fire. So I'm gonna share the story.
okay.
So when I was in middle school. I get a call while I'm at school saying, "Hey, when you catch the bus, don't go home. Go to my best friend's house because the
Mhm.
house was gone. The house had caught on fire while I was in school, and it was gone. It was gone, gone. So it was nothing we could do. And the thing is, when they found out what happened was the fire got behind the panel on the wall.
Yeah.
So we
Oh
had
yeah.
paneling all around our wall,
Yeah.
and when they got there, it just took the whole everything. And but it was one of those where it was super devastating. I mean, really, really, because you think you had a place when you left to go to school, and when you get home, it's no longer there. And the mental part of that, I will never forget that. So I can only imagine some of the things that you as firefighters see that and I know military will say PTSD and things. So do
Right.
firefighters go through something similar
Oh
to
yeah.
that? And I just want that.
So let me tell you this, man. When you say fire behind the paneling, right?
Mm,
So when I came on, we didn't have thermal imagers and all that kind of stuff. Right now, you got a thermal imager, you can see if there's hot heat behind the wall. So the way they taught us was, if you leave them something to complain about, you've done your job. Now here it is. Most people will say the house was in great shape till the firemen showed up, and then they destroyed my house. Right. So when you say paneling, right? We come in, we see a little 2 cent fire, we don't remove the paneling, or has run up a pipe chase, and we don't put holes in the ceiling, see what's going on. We don't, like I said, we don't run cameras to see if you got any heat that went any front flames that went anywhere else. You're good. Come back 2 hours, 3 hours later, and your house
House
is
is
gone.
gone. Yeah.
Yep, and the house is gone. So, when you come in for the little 2 cent fire, you got to really make sure. And I'm not saying that's what happened in your situation, but like, people never understand. Well, the fire was down here. Why are they up here in the attic punching holes in my ceiling? Right
mm,
now, not so much punching holes because we got thermal images, but you still need to make sure that it hasn't gone. And then here's the irony: we haven't done what we're supposed to do. We come back and the whole house is on fire, and everybody's talking about, oh man, the firemen did a heck of a job, man. They were out there, and it's just surround and drown at that point. They did a heck of a job because it looks pretty impressive with this fire coming through the roof and all this water, right? But we, not saying that we know, but if you didn't go and open up holes and inspect what you should inspect, and you had like maybe a rekindle. So that's why when we come in like paneling, man, you got to take all that paneling off the wall. I mean, you got to do it, man, because that paneling behind the fire's gone everywhere. And like you said, you
mm.
came back to no house, but you'd be
Right.
surprised how many times people like take the paneling down, or just a little fire, and the next thing you know, it's over. You know.
Right.
So when we get there, and we do what we do, and we have to explain to people what we're doing and why we're doing it. Food on the stove. One of my pet peeves. I don't want to hear glass breaking. I don't want to hear glass breaking
Mm.
for food on the stove. If it's that bad and that tight, you gotta have your mask on.
Mm.
You know, the screen in your house keeps like 75% of the smoke in. So you get a window is, fire. I mean, I'm not gonna say all fire, but you get glass breaking, clang, 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 for food on the stove, a pot of hot dogs on the stove, right? I'm breaking in your glass. I got a hole this big, and if I'm not doing anything, I'm not ventilating. If you're gonna ventilate through a window, take the whole window out. And then we do cross ventilation, so you can take a fan, stick it in the front door, open up the back door, and ventilate the whole house in minutes. So just little things like that, man. You got to be mindful of all of those things, and you got to understand first and foremost, man. Just like being a doctor, being a police officer, being a military vet, being a YouTuber. Your job is not to bring harm to the public. Your job is to prevent harm to the public, right?
Mm.
And that's just little things like that, man. And I'm telling you, bro, it's just so many things, man. It's just like you just can't believe it. I mean, you just like, wow. So, man, losing your house, I can't even imagine that. Like these people in California, I can't even imagine.
Right,
What does
right,
that
right.
look like? I mean, like you come home to nothing. The people that lost
Mm.
their houses in floods. I mean, like you got nothing,
Nothing.
absolutely nothing. Just imagine your whole house is gone.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
I
everything
don't
you
have to
have,
imagine it.
yeah,
It was just that,
everything
man.
you
Yeah,
have in it. And for
yeah,
you, your considerations are different than your parents because you got the GI Joe with the kung fu grip, and you got all those things. But
mm.
just your stuff is your stuff.
No,
Mm.
no, you're right because the things that did remain, they were all smoke damage and this and that,
Yeah,
and and you're still trying to salvage what you can salvage, and it's like you don't we say it a lot. With one person's trash is another
yeah,
person's treasure, but these are
yeah,
your treasures, and now somebody's telling you it's trash, and that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
it gets to be a problem. So
And that's
yeah,
why you just can't be throwing people's stuff out. If it's not on fire, if it's not risk of causing a fire, hey man, put it to the side, preserve that, right? And
and
then you
try to
got to
respect them.
and think about it, man. How much personal stuff you have in your house, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
How
one hundred
many
percent, all
things?
of
Look,
it.
let me ask you this, man. In your house right now, would you want your neighbors to come through and go through all your drawers, your junk drawer, your bathroom, medicine cabinet, your bedroom drawers, and all that, man? You got to respect that. Hey, man, you just
Yeah.
got to respect that. Hey, man, I got to ask, creating change, I got to ask you one question, man. You the
Yes,
guitar,
sir.
you the guitar player. I
I,
see you
I
guitar
I
player.
do like to play guitar. Yes, sir.
You ever heard of a group called Bad Brains?
No, sir, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, I got a cousin that played for a group, rock group though. I see
Uh, if
you
you'll tell me that name again, I will look them up.
bad
Bad Brains.
bad
I know
brain.
Bad
Bad
brain.
Brains is.
Yeah,
I
you
know
do?
Bad Brains is. Yeah.
Man, yeah, the
Maggot
guitar
Brain?
player is my
Maggot
cousin.
Brain? Yeah,
Huh?
really. Maggot
Yeah,
Brain, are you talking about? Yeah.
the guitar player is my cousin, Gary Miller, Dr. No. That's my first cousin.
They have that
Okay.
awesome drummer too.
Okay.
They got that awesome drummer
Oh
too.
yeah, Earl Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they got
Okay.
HR,
Cool.
yeah, and Daryl on the bass. Yeah. But when I see the guitars, man, I think about it.
Yeah.
For about 10 minutes, Bill, I thought I was gonna be a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
look.
But
Yeah,
Bill understand
I had
me,
that
man. I
same
could
I
never
had that
get my fingers
same
in the right
yeah.
place, man. I could never get my
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I
so
had that same
Yeah.
life. It was all about 10 minutes, all the whole
yeah,
10 minutes.
about
Yeah.
10 minutes, man. I was gonna be a musician, man.
Yeah.
So I want to
But
make
look
sure
where
we hit the people.
look where it landed with Jay.
Huh?
Look where it landed. It landed with Jay. Landed with Jay,
Uh,
his son.
oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
Big Jack's son
you talking about
is a
Jay
Big
musician.
and his
Jack son, yeah,
band.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the heavy hitters.
The
Yeah.
heavy hitters,
Yeah.
yeah, the heavy hitters.
Hmm.
Absolutely, 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
so
might
he
have
Yeah.
skipped a
joined.
So
generation with you, Big Jack, but hey.
Yeah,
it's all
yeah,
good. It's all good.
Right.
I
Yeah.
picked up other things. I picked up other things. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So
When you get to see exactly what you would have been if you would have been a rock star, you see your
yeah.
son.
Hey, there you go. There you go. So I want to make sure we acknowledge the people that's down in the chat, and
Hmm.
we're gonna continue to talk. And then we got the panelists that's in here. So we got change, creating change and mind games, and they might have some questions. So I don't want to hog that time that they're
Okay.
here. So Dapper PH, we thank you for being here. Joe Remington, thank you. Tracy's Local Learnings, thank you for showing up and being here. But this is the after
Thank you,
show of the
Tracy.
Iron Sharpening Iron. After show, Tracy's put up. She said, "Mind games, creating change." Big Jack story time. Walter
Mm.
Jernigan, thank you for
Hey,
being here. So thank you, Tracy, again. Joe Remington, I think we already said your name, but there you go. Anisha, she's been here for the whole time. I think she's been here. Allison Mapp,
Mm-hmm.
I know I might have missed you in the beginning, but thank you, Allison, for being here. And we just want to, this is an opportunity, and this is what we do with the show as far as the Iron Sharpening Iron after show. It's a chance for you to ask your questions and get your questions out. If you want to be on the panel and come in and talk, you're more than welcome to come in and talk with us. But right now I have Creating Change here, Walter, and I got Mind Games here. And if they have a question for them, I'll let them ask you a question that they
Two
might want to.
guitar players. Two guitar players. I just
Yeah,
see
both of them
Mind
can play.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guitar
yeah.
on it.
That's
Yeah,
something.
my man.
I
Okay.
didn't do this. I didn't do
Respect.
this for the guitar. I fiddle.
No,
I
but
fiddle.
respect,
Nothing like.
man. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
guys,
no, cool.
you guys know any firefighters?
Do I know any
I do.
firefighters?
Yeah, figured. Yeah. You know any DC guys?
No, I
I know
don't.
Florida. I know Florida Coral
Okay.
Gables. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I want to tell a story about this. So if you don't
Talk
mind,
to me.
because don't let him tell a story.
Go ahead.
Is that what you're saying, Guy? No, Guy was shaking his
Absolutely.
head. I'm just joking. I'm joking with Guy.
No,
Yeah.
I
You
can
know
hear
why?
you.
Because
Go ahead.
I'm seeing the delay. That's why
Yeah.
I'm seeing the delay. Sorry
Oh,
about
you
that.
got a delay. Okay. Gotcha.
No, because I'm not looking at the camera. So um when I was about I think around 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I used to play with matches.
Mm,
And
Mm-hmm.
my back the back part of the house was like a it was storage, but it was also like a workshop that my dad left when they got divorced. So like
Mm-hmm.
4 years later, I'm sitting there playing with it was like now the place where we stored the lawnmower. So
Oh.
I'm sitting there, and the first notice that my mom had in one of the rooms that I played, I basically sprayed. I got a little big. I sprayed the fire extinguisher. So I couldn't clean that up. So she
Mm-hmm.
caught on. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." Then the next time, she's like, I was playing inside the workshop area, and I started something, and she saw the line of it. Even though I got it out, she saw the ring that it actually made.
Yeah.
So she had a friend that was in the that knew somebody that was in Coral
Mm-hmm.
Gables fire department. She took me there with a pair of underwear. Okay, she took me there with a pair of underwear, saying, "I don't know if you're gonna be going home. I don't know what's up." I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
"Okay." I meet this guy. He shows me nothing but people that have been burnt by their kids.
Right. Yeah.
mm,
I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, changed my
Yeah.
whole life in that sense.
Yeah.
I never played with matches again. I smoked
Yeah.
cigarettes, but I never played around with it again.
So there's a program in DC called the Junior Fire Starters Program, and
Look at
it's
that.
not that extreme, but it's, hey man, you don't
No, I
understand.
know. I played with it.
You
I
don't
played with it. I
understand.
know.
Yeah, you don't understand. And
It
here's the
looks
thing:
cool as hell. It looks
it looks
cool.
cool. It looks cool. We all set the woods on fire, right?
Yeah.
Leaves on fire. You got a campground, and the next thing you know, it's burning. Oh man, it's a scary thing. But
It's not cool
yeah,
after that. It's not cool after it turns in from the little fire to the big fire.
no, it's not, man. I mean, then just something as simple as going camping and not putting your campfire out.
Right.
Just roll
I've
up
always
my
heard about Smokey the Bear. I've always heard about Smokey the
yeah,
Bear, but it never,
yeah,
you know? Yeah.
that's real. That's that's that's
Yeah.
that's uh that's a real thing, man. That's
No, I
definitely a real.
know. I mean, from when I was growing up, that was a big thing. I was growing up in the 70s. I was born in 70s. So
Okay.
from when I was hearing TV, it was always a big thing.
Yeah.
Smokey the Bear. Put out
Yeah.
your campfires.
Smoking material. I'm a cigar smoker. I smoke cigars. Just smoking material, man. You'd be surprised, like people, hey man, you need a can, you need a water can, you need whatever, put it out. Make sure it's because you just leave it, put your ash in there, especially cigars because it's going to to go out, right? But then the
Right. They're
wind
bigger. They keep the fire there. They
it
ember.
burns. Hey, but here's my hey, when you said underwear, this would make me think about something. Probably
She was making me psychology think that I was going to go to jail.
well, yeah, but probably the weirdest fire that we potentially could have had was we ran an apartment building, and we get to this lady's house, man, and it's full of smoke. And we searched this house, man. We can't figure it out. We cannot figure out where the smoke is coming from. I mean, we cannot figure it out. We are there. Excuse me. All the walls are clear, but we got smoke, man. The house is full of smoke, and we can't figure out where it's coming from. And she said, all I did was go down to the laundry room, went and got my clothes, put them on the bed, left the house, forgot something, came back, and the house was full of smoke. And we could not figure out, it was a weird smell. It wasn't like Class A materials. She took her clothes out of the dryer, had synthetic underwear. The heat was so hot. It was so hot from the dryer, and put all that stuff in there and just kind of balled up in the knot, so the heat never dissipated.
Damn.
Right.
And when we poured that laundry bag out, man, it was a whole like just burning all her clothes.
Dang,
Really?
man.
Now, if she had left,
Oh, the
it,
building would have been done.
it would be done. I mean,
That
it's
is
20
crazy.
building. Yeah, and I mean, like
Oh,
little things like that. Like you just think about something like that, man. Just candles at night. People have
Yeah,
candles, right?
yeah.
Put the candles up by the drapes. Oh man, kerosene heaters. DC you can't have them, but kerosene heaters. Who doesn't have a kerosene heater, right? Uh, Overloading power strips. Just all these little things, man. I mean, we all just these all of these things. And then there's not even mentioning the people who have electric cars. This is the new one, and didn't get the system heavied up,
Right.
or didn't get it inspected, or get some jackleg guy. Oh, my cousin can do it, but he's not a licensed guy. And
Right.
next thing you know, man, I mean, they had a few of those incidents. And then even the lithium batteries, man, for like my
mm,
golf cart build,
right.
and for those boogie boards and all that,
Oh yeah.
you gotta, man, when you charge them, get them full, unplug them, because they
But
can
see,
start fire. Yeah.
but that was the
Let me
same
ask.
thing with the. That was the same thing. I'm sorry, Maggie, real quick. But that was the same thing with the cell phones, and people was putting
Yeah.
the charging the cell phones and having them
Yeah.
in the bed with them, and the
Yeah.
cell phones were catching fire. So
Yeah.
that was another thing where you had to watch yourself. But
Oh,
when
wow.
you was talking about the clothes dry thing, it brought me back. So, I received in one of my videos. If you might see one of the videos I posted in YouTube, where it talks about when I was burned. It was my public service announcement because of the fact that I had a clothes dryer. So it was a Sunday morning, I'm drying clothes,
Mhm.
and the dryer started making this electric dryer though, started making this real crazy noise. Crazy noise. So instead of unplugging it and turning it off, I just moved the dryer to try to see what the noise was coming from. And when I moved that dryer, a big ball of fire shot out the back of the dryer, ran up the wall, and we had a ledge that was over top where the soap powder
Yeah.
and all was on. So it ran up the wall, came up the ledge, and that thing came. I could see that fire
Right
sitting,
at your
looking. It
face.
was like I
Yeah.
was looking through
I
fire.
do remember you
So
got.
I did a turn. I mean, I turned because it was coming at me right in my face. And I turned, and it was like if somebody took a pen and just drew a line right down the middle of my face.
Remember that.
And I had second degree burns all on the left side, all down my face, down my arm, down my chest.
Mm.
And when they finally inspected, it was from the dryer lint. The
Wow.
lint
Yeah.
in my dryer. That's like one
Yeah.
of the most flammable things in
Yeah.
your
Oh man.
house
Yeah.
Yeah.
is
It's
dryer
like
lint.
Tinder. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tinder.
It's
yeah,
like
100%. So yeah, it can
yeah.
be
It's like
used to help
Tinder, man.
set fires for a
Yeah.
campfire or whatever. But I'm real a big pet peeve on make sure you clean out that trap, go behind it and clean that stuff out because what
And
happened
your
was,
vent.
oh yeah,
And
oh
your
yeah, and the
vent.
vent, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And your vent. I mean, sometimes you can just take there's a wire brush with an extension. You can take it, go in from the outside, just go in and just clean all that out, man. Because here's the thing. You probably the only sign you get is, man, my dryer is dry and slow, right? And you don't think much of it. And then, but that lint tray, man, yeah, that's a big deal. And I tell you something else, man. The when you were lucky because when it comes to fire and burning body, being burned, I think they use the rules of nine, right? And I forget the number that gives you first degree, second degree, third degree. But your face, man, anything to the face is bad.
Mm,
And I tell you something else. When you catch road rash from a motorcycle accident,
mm.
you go to the burn unit.
Right,
Yeah.
Mm.
right.
And I'm a
They
motorcycle
soak you
guy.
in a bed, right? They soak you like
Yeah,
in
yeah, I'm
like
a
a.
motorcycle guy. So,
Yeah.
and let me
No,
tell
I
you
know
something,
too.
man. When they get them clothes off of you, man, and they gotta scrub you down and those nerves, buddy. I have never been through that part, but
Mm.
I've seen guys who have been burned. I've visited them in the burn unit from motorcycles and firefighting accidents. It ain't pretty, man.
Mm.
It's
No.
not
Mm.
pretty.
And the
So
No.
pain they
that's
go
why,
through is real. The pain they go
yeah,
through is real.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
God, you ain't
100%.
kidding, Tom.
It
yeah.
took
That's why,
me
yeah,
it took me months and months to recover from that burn.
yeah,
Yeah.
To the point because it was second degree, so all the pigmentation off my skin was gone off
yeah,
So if you can imagine Batman
Dang.
and the character
yeah.
Two Face, that was me.
Right.
One side was, and I'm never gonna win no beauty contest or nothing like that.
I
But it
can't
was
even tell, bro,
one.
but I haven't seen you
It,
up close like
no,
that.
and you can't tell now because and the
Okay,
Lord
good.
is definitely He definitely
The
blessed
Lord has
me where
paid
I
me back.
couldn't
Yeah.
tell. But yeah, it was that. So I want to ask, and I do say it, and thank you, Tracy. Sharon Jackson said, "How safe are heated jackets that use the batteries?"
So
So
I have one. I use a heated vest, and hopefully I won't need it tomorrow because I plan on playing golf. But I have one. I like them, but I still will keep it unplugged. And when I plug the battery up and charge the battery, I'll charge the battery and then I'll unplug it. Because again, I mean, some of this stuff is made, you don't know what's been UL tested, especially within the world of Amazon. You know what I mean?
Right.
You shop in price, right?
And Timu.
It's all man, yeah. So you just assume that with all
To
this
move.
but it's not necessarily the case. So be on the safe side. Uh,
Yeah.
Same thing with electric blankets, right? This time of year, people have electric blankets.
Yeah.
Same thing, man. Just don't leave them unattended. So if you're not using it, just unplug it. That's the best thing to do. Just unplug it.
Thank you. Thank you. I was going to ask that question before, so just
Yeah,
unplug it. Thank you.
heater,
But
space
then,
heater, all that. You can't
yeah,
keep the space heater close to your curtains,
right.
right.
close to the chair. Oh man, weirdest thing I've ever seen. Not even one of the weirdest things. My next door neighbor, 5-gallon, and we can all, because I know we all did this because we all seemed like we were cutting up as kids. 5-gallon water jug is sitting up on his platform next to his AC unit. And the sun just happens to hit it like it's kind of like a magnifying glass back in the day,
Right.
right?
I
You
was going to
walk in
say
the
that. Yeah.
magnifying glass and burns your friend, right? We've all been there. Well, the sun is just hitting it just right. So it's like a prism going through the water. And I smell smoke come out, and I smell smoke. And it's burning a
Hello?
hole in the platform,
Oh,
in the
what
Oh
happened
project
here?
wow.
platform.
Okay. No, we're
Yeah.
good. We're good.
So I go knock on his door and I say, "Hey man, I want you to see something." And he comes out. He's like, "What?" Now the good thing is, if the water releases from the jug, it's going to put the fire out.
Put
So
the
you got
fire out.
fire.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. But I'm just like, man, you just never know. Like if it all like right now, this month, I think the stars supposed to be, the planet's supposed to be aligning.
They did.
Yeah, what they did last night, it looked pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did. Yeah,
But
it
like you
did.
say, man, sometimes everything that goes wrong, even with the plane crashing, you know, every accident from your job, man. It's like when they do the study, when they go back and do the case study, when they go back and assess the whole thing and how this thing happened. This thing always happens. It just in this particular case, it all happened at the same time.
Yes.
Think about car accidents, man. How many times? I mean, like people go through the beltway flying, cutting people off, yada yada yada, 70, 270.
Yeah.
It happens every day. But then one
Right.
day somebody does it and it just lines up the wrong way, and then you got, God forbid, man, you got a pile up.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, you got to be mindful of all that, man.
Yes,
What was
sir.
the other
All right.
question?
So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna throw one at you, and I don't want to take away from the panel. So we got creating change here, and we got mind games here, and I don't want to hog Walt's time, but y'all here, and
I'm good,
you
man.
grown men. So if you got a question, you know how to get in there. So, but the
Using
deep
my
frying
tactic.
turkeys, the deep frying turkeys.
Oh man, that's a great
Oh,
one. All right, man. So deep frying turkeys. All right. So the way the fryer goes, it's cold. It's Thanksgiving, right? It's
Hmm.
Christmas. It's cold outside. So I'm not going to put this fryer out on the concrete away from the house because hell, it's cold outside, right? So I'm gonna put it as close to the house so I can just get to it. The same with the gas grill. I just want to be able to go outside, get to it. Oh yeah, and by the way, I bought this turkey yesterday. Hell man, I didn't know it was gonna take this long as thought, right?
Oh,
So I mean, I'll just put it in the grease.
Yeah.
I'll just put
frozen.
this cold turkey, this frozen
Yeah.
turkey into the grease.
Hmm.
And it's
Somebody
good.
has a bomb.
And it's like it's crazy, man. And then you would burn up your deck. It's like a townhouse community, right? You burn the whole row, and then the house. The same thing with the grill. Comes up the back of your. Comes up. People put their grill close to the house.
Mhm.
Just think about that, man. That heat from that grill, it's enough to burn the siding on your house.
Right.
And I mean, but the fried turkeys, man, yeah. And here's the funny part, man. This is not funny. It's not funny. Excuse me. It's not funny.
Right. But it
But
is the funny part, but it's not funny.
from a fireman's perspective, it's almost like everybody goes to work thinking Sunday is going to be an easy day, right? But you got more people in the house on Sunday.
Yeah.
More
Right.
people in the house on Saturday, right? and they cooking breakfast, man. Oh, and then the guy that comes home at 3 a.m. with the hot dogs in the stove. I don't know what it is about guys who drink. They come home and want to put hot dogs in the, in the pot.
I think that's all they
Frying them
can
before
make
they
when they're
go to sleep.
drinking.
And it's Teflon pans, man. You
They
can smell
burn
that stuff
everything
for
out, right?
miles away,
Right.
and it never leaves your throat, man. It never leaves you. I mean, you like smell it. Food on the stove, man. The Teflon pan, but the fried turkey, Bill. I mean,
Yes.
Big Jack. Yes, sir. Hey, bro. I mean, like, come on, man. I mean, like, I can't tell you how many times I've even seen my neighbors, and I'll be like, hey, man, do me a favor, man. Move that turkey up over this way, so, right?
Right.
You want to at least give yourself a running chance, man.
Yeah.
Because if it goes over in the driveway, it's in the driveway, right? If it goes over on the patio, in the brick patio, it goes over on the patio. But right here on the deck, you're going to burn the whole house down.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, and
I
then
got you.
some people inside the house. I'm going to do it in the drive.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in the garage.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So Joe Remington said he's going to step away. He's going to go spend time with his wife and daughter. So Joe, thank you for being
Thank you,
coming
Joe.
out and
Hey,
hanging
brother
with
Joe.
Love
us
you, brother.
and see you. So Walt, I'm gonna throw another one at you. So I'm sure Fourth of July.
What?
I'm sure 4th of July is a big one.
4th of July. All right. So, 4th of July. Most jurisdictions have laws governing fireworks, right? Like if you go up to Pennsylvania, man, a lot of people go up to Pennsylvania and get fireworks. I live in D.C. Sometimes the police are sitting right there at the Montgomery County line, seeing who buys fireworks, bringing them back into D.C. And then, of course, you go to every fireworks stand, not every fireworks stand, but somebody's throwing M80s or selling M80s or ash cans or cherry bombs or half sticks of dynamite, quarter sticks rather,
Quarter six, yeah.
behind the counter, right? Hey, man, until you run a call with somebody that's fingers are no longer there from a firecracker, just a firecracker.
Right.
And and again, hey, man, I'm not exempt. I've done some dumb things in my life. None of you guys have never done this, have never taken a firecracker and taken the gunpowder out of the stem to make it a timer so you can slow the burn down so you got time to throw it, right? Hey, man.
We did that.
I've been there. We've all been there, and I got a buddy lost his fingers on that, man. Yeah,
Dang, man.
Yeah, lost his fingers.
Dang, man.
So the fireworks, man, and then the rockets, the bottle rockets going up.
Yeah.
People's houses, right?
Yeah.
All of that, man. And then sometimes it go up and they come down on the roof.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's always the same thing. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean for that to happen. But this person
didn't mean to do it
in their house. Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you, man.
Sure.
A statement and a question.
Okay.
Thank you for your service. I'm familiar with the area that you're from.
Okay.
I know that it's definitely been a challenging career for sure. With that being said, with the knowledge that you've gained over the past 25 years, as well as you obviously are a great orator, you're a great storyteller, a great commentator, however you want to refer it. Do you see in your future maybe mixing your love of storytelling and communication with education, maybe wrapped around fire safety and other things like that?
So
good question.
And that's a great question. So thank you. So the reason I'm on the show today is because I'm still involved. Just, man, career days. I have 2 grandkids. Career days. Nephews, nieces, and nephews. Career days. Even when I was a liaison with the fire department, just having conversations like how we see things. I have friends who are police officers and trying to explain to them, like, for example, the block is on fire, house is on fire. The police pull into the block, right? They don't know how many fire trucks are coming behind them. So they block traffic, which we appreciate. But now they're also preventing, because they're going on to do what they need to do, they're also preventing more fire apparatus coming into the block. So just little things like that, man, is like, you can see I haven't been in barbershop in 30 years. But so these types of conversations I always love to have because I told Bill from, I don't know if you were online at the beginning, creating change.
I was.
I said, okay, that's why I said, man, I started off with a, like, hey, the more you know, I mean, it's impossible to know what you don't know. And the more I know, the more I understand that what I don't know. And like watching Big Jack do his thing and you guys exchanging ideas or even just how to build your platforms, So I've always liked to have these conversations. I'm not having them as much as in a formal setting, but I have these conversations a lot because, like, I don't know what you do for a living, but there's things that you do that you take for granted that the other person's like, whoa, I never knew that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
When you have those kind of conversations, yes, but I'm not doing it as formal in a formal format as much as I used to, but I still have these conversations and people just walking through the process. I tell people all the time, hey man, have them call me before because there's things like in my day, we were doing stuff by hand, right? So now we're doing everything online. So back in the day, and how old are you, sir? If you don't mind me asking.
No, sir, I didn't serve.
How
No.
old are you? How old
I'm
are you?
47.
Okay, so there was a time you go for your job, you fill out a clipboard, you got your father's shirt on, it's too big, you got a tie, it's too big for you. You know you don't qualify for the job. You go in and the guy's like, hey, you give him a firm handshake, you look him in the eye, and he tells you, hey man, you're underqualified for this job. You pick the store. But I really like the fact that you came in, dressed well, gave me a firm handshake, you look me in the eye, right? Now these kids are applying everything, they're applying for jobs online. So they don't get those second level conversations.
Yeah.
So my goal right now, when I go visit a school, when I go visit a community center, when I go visit a job program, which I have, and I do mock interviews and stuff. But he has a company, and they do these job prep classes. When I go to these classes, trying to have those conversations, like these are things people are looking for. And again, it's nothing new. I'm not telling you any secret.
Right.
Your parents have been telling you to look a man in the eye, shake him and shake his hand, stand on your word. Don't pretend to be who you don't intend to be. All of those things that we learned as kids. It's no different. It's the same stuff. So hopefully you just keep reiterating and reiterating and reiterating. And then one day it goes off. Yeah, that's what the guy was telling me. But you tell your kids that all the time. But if they hear it from Big Jack, it might make more sense.
That's right. Well, and sometimes, sometimes just the way somebody turns a phrase or the way that somebody can apply how it worked in their life or a story where it had, that's sometimes all it takes to resonate with someone that's seeking a message. Now, if someone's not wanting to hear it, they're just not wanting to hear
They're
it.
not going to hear it.
And, that's just the way that goes. But for those that do have an open heart, and even though they may not realize they're listening, you might tell a story that resonates and says, oh, okay, I see exactly, like I understand why this is important now. I have after I have one more question for you. As a person who has served, and I'm sure has seen some very crazy and just terrible things and situations that you can't do anything about. I know that as a human, you can't do nothing about it. It's like, okay, that situation happened, but is there any advice for those of us that's had some traumas or had things that maybe, maybe we just keep battling over and over and over again in our brain? Do you have things that you do to help you, or what do you do to help you get past some of those things?
So I have golf, I have a motorcycle, I have grandkids, I have friends like Big Jack. I have these conversations. I have groups of guys that I talk to. We laugh, we joke, we cut up on each other, the whole 9 yards. And man, here's the thing as men. This is just my opinion. I have no degrees in psychology. But here's the thing about men. As men, we don't have all the answers. And it's okay not to be okay. And society says that we are supposed to be this guy, this rough and tough guy. We're supposed to have all the answers, right? But the toughest guys, the toughest people in my life that I know are the people who are willing to admit that they're not okay. That they may go talk to somebody. It may just be something. And like I said, man, I ain't been in the barbershop in 30 years, but Jack, the barbershop is therapeutic, right?
Oh yeah, oh
The
100%,
barbershop is
yeah.
therapeutic, man.
You got to go
So
in.
yeah, so I ain't been in the barbershop in 30 years. I may go get a shave, shape up, when I've got something big going on. But I haven't been to the barbershop in 30 years. And when I go through, I just go through it and I might go get this shaped up and I'm talking. I might be there all day just chopping it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to answer your question, advice is what you ask for when you already know the answer and wish you didn't, right? I mean, just in general. And like with these public safety jobs, especially public safety jobs, and I'll use police, firemen, and I'll use the military. When your job defines who you are, that's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a
Right.
real problem because, and I say not problem like in a bad way, but you got to separate from that. And that's
Yes,
why
sir.
you find guys because just working, we become conditioned.
Yes,
We
sir.
become conditioned. You got a guys working for nothing. You got a guy that's max. Think about how many jobs where a guy has maxed out on his retirement. He can't get another dime.
Right.
It costs him money to come to work.
Yes.
But that thing that he's doing, that level of respect, responsibility, or authority, is making them feel like they can't leave because this thing defines them.
Yes.
It's the same way with golf, Big Jack. People cheat in golf. People cheat in life because, and it's even worse now with social media, because this thing defines you. But the problem is this: when you put those types of conditions on your life, right, and then you are this great person because you can do this great thing, are you really a better person? No. That's so back to your immediate question, man. You gotta have a life outside of that. I see
Yes,
you got
sir.
your guitars. When you want to unwind, and I see your shirt. So I'm thinking, you might come in and strum a few chords and
Yes.
have your nice ice cold beverage or whatever. And that's what it is,
Well,
man. And
I, I, I,
you got
I often like to ask that question because I guess most importantly, I've tried to find my way of reaching folks and my way of sharing with folks. And as you said before, the more honest that I can be, it seems like the better my message I'm able to resonate with people.
yes.
I have inmates that come to my house right to this day that I tried to always push on them that 3 or that 5 or that 10-year sentence did not define who you are.
Define who you are, man.
It
That one
defined you while you was there.
while you was there.
But if you're willing to walk away from it, then it's willing to stay there. And
Yeah.
give yourself that time to separate because it takes just a little bit of time
Takes
to
a little
get
bit of time, but
past
you
it.
got to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself grace.
Yes.
Let me
Yes.
let me say this, man. So the part that really gets me is like we we spend we really think that people think about us more than what they really think about us. You know what I mean? Like everybody's trying to make it. So, for example, you got 4 types of personalities. This is what I've found, and it's just you got. If you've ever taken one of those personality tests, right?
Yeah.
You got your sharks, your whales, your urchins, and your dolphins, right? Your sharks, those are guys about that money. They about their business. They need let's get that money. Your whales, they want to save the world. Your urchins, they need all the details before. This is like sales 101. They need all the details before they can buy anything.
Yeah.
And then you got your dolphins, they just want to have a good time, right? So when I walk into a classroom of kids, 12th grade kids, especially after lunch, you already know, or even before lunch, the room is a mess. I got to get their attention. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain Jernigan, um, here from D.C. Fire Department, Office of Recruit Processing. If you're looking for an opportunity to make a good living, people's heads start coming up. Serve your community, people's head starts coming up. Learn a lot. people's head starts coming up, and have a great time doing it. You got all four of your personalities, right? Now, here's the thing. When you tell somebody that I don't say these things to impress you, but to impress upon you, if I can do it, come on, man. You know what I mean? There's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about me. We all special, don't get me wrong. But think about it. Think about it. We all try to figure this thing out. We all been that uncomfortable kid trying to figure things out. We've all been there. We have all been there, man. I mean, the thing is, we all trying. So with social media, and this is just me being an old guy, the problem is people expect you to be this other thing that you're not. Because even like meeting people, like I always talk to the young guys, like, how in the world do you meet a girl, man, and you can't really know a young lady till you on the phone with her at 3 o'clock in the morning, falling asleep, and you're gonna hang up the phone first. You just can't text because you stuff gets lost in the translation.
Yeah.
So you just got to talk to people, and once you talk to people like with you guys with your platforms, which is pretty cool. You get to do that, man. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then the thing is, and I can't reiterate this enough, how you guys kind of look out for one another.
Yeah.
You guys kind of have a community. I caught something yesterday, Big Jack. It was like, and somebody said, I don't even know who said it, but if you do an hour and I do an hour, then we all get an hour. We can do 4 hours and we all get an hour doing what thing that we do. It's like, man, and then with this platform, and your people can connect with my people can. I mean, that's a huge thing because the world doesn't do that right now.
Well,
what's up, Dapper?
Yeah,
it really does. It really does help me to just come on here with Big Jack, okay, or with Mind Games, or with you, or whoever it is that I might come in on. I've always just my payment in this whole thing has nothing to do with money. It's about the platform. It's about when I speak, I want to know that there's some people that want to hear what I have to say and are going to take me seriously and know that there's a reason that I'm speaking.
Right.
And that is my real payment. Now, I'm not one of these people that's going to play games and say, "Oh, I don't want no money. That's not." Hey, man, if I can figure out how to put some coin in my pocket, I'm not going to stop you. But at the same time, that's not my motivation in the whole thing.
So let me say this. So you talking about part-time jobs, right? We talked about in the last hour with Big Jack. I drove a limo. I promoted parties, trips, small concerts, right? Did all that on my 3 days off. Let me tell you something, man. You can't, and even when I was still working before I retired, I used to throw the fire department Christmas party. You cannot have a good party going in trying to go Christmas shopping, right? Or thinking about the money. Just like with your site. When you walk in with the idea of I need to monetize this thing, and this is just like, I don't give a daggone, man, if you were a bank robber. You got to respect the process. And I'm not saying people need to go rob banks, but the people who get caught doing stupid things is they take stupid chances because people get hurt, get caught taking stupid chances.
Yeah.
It's as simple as running a red light. Come on, man. The light is red. It's been red too long when you ran it, So you have to respect the process, understand that the process will take care of other things. The money is a byproduct of you respecting the process. And here's the thing, and Big Jack, you can attest to this. When this man started playing golf, I probably had 25 years of golf under my belt, my man. Big Jack. This guy, we in the same league. We're in different flights, but we're in the same organization. What was the name of the Am Tour?
Golf Channel, yeah.
Golf Channel Amateur Tour. We were in different flights. This guy how many trophies did you win your first year?
8.
8 trophies his first year. Because he was fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
He came in with, I'm going to learn this golf. I'm going to compete. I'm going to do this thing. That's why I said, man, this thing is this. How many followers do you have now, sir?
We're at 1,600. 1,600.
I remember when you had nothing,
Yeah.
So back to what you were asking me, creating change. It's like the process, man. And you're 47, so you probably like the last generation, man, that respects the process.